record, and we will get going. Let's see. Okay, let's share this. Fantastic. So what you should have up on your screen now is maybe a little image of me, and you see the title slide, Unlock the Power of Your Unconscious Mind with Wayne Donnelly. Is that right? Great. I just want to check in so I know that we've got it right. Okay. Now, what we're going to be doing this Unlock the Power of Your Unconscious Mind is talk about where the power is inside you, why you do what you do, and why it seems like you're doing it automatically, like you're on autopilot. So something comes up and bang, you perform a certain way in life. So I want to kick off with this saying, as above, so below, as within, so without. And the important part of this is, for me, is that as within, so without. And how I'm referencing that is the world that you're experiencing outside you is a reflection of the world that's happening inside you. So what I'm going to do, Carolina, is I'm just going to pop you on mute. Wave your hand or something if you want to speak. I can still see you.
Sure.
Okay, great. That's just for the sake of the recording. So as within, so without. So the world that's happening around you, what you're experiencing, your reality, is a reflection of what your own values, beliefs, and identity are. So if you've got certain beliefs, you will see the world through the filter of those beliefs. So only see what you believe you can see. Very, very powerful. And it impacts your whole life, what you think your reality is dictated to by your perceptions and your beliefs. Very, very powerful. Now, if I move on, and you say, well, who is Wayne Donnelly? Now, if you've got a personal invite, I think you might have an idea of who I am. If you're watching the recording, my background is I spent 28 years in the accounting and financial planning area. And thanks to the GFC, in late 2008, my future was freed up for new opportunities. So I went and retrained in behavioural sciences, namely neuro-linguistic programming and hypnosis. And I utilised these in business coaching for about 4 years. And then I got more involved in, well, how do we create more positive and more powerful change in people? And so I went more into therapy, group workshops, and that sort of thing. And over the last 2 years, what I've been doing is bringing all that together and bringing it back into corporate, back into business, so that business owners, business managers can have a more fulfilling time in their workplace or in their business by creating within themselves and within their team higher performing minds for better business. And what we're going to look at today is the concept of self-image and how that impacts everything we do and our level of performance. And we'll go for about 30 to 40 minutes, depends on the questions that are asked, and you can always pop up your hand, or if your picture is up, wave at me and I'll unmute you. And what you can expect to go away with today after this webinar is a sense of how your self-image is impacting your life right now and what you're able to perform or achieve in life, as well as 2 exercises. One, to give you a sense of how you can control what you think and feel, and especially your thoughts, very important. And also how we can create, or how you can create, a greater degree of certainty by shifting your perception. And that'll be very powerful. That's as we get towards the end. Okay, so let's go on to the next slide, self-image. And here's a really, really powerful statement. I don't know if you've heard it before or not. You can't outperform your self-image. If your self-image is to say that, look, I can only earn $50,000 a year, that is all you're going to earn in a year, is $50,000. You might go slightly above, you might go slightly below. So it'll be like a thermostat. If you go too far over it, you'll be outside your comfort zone, and you'll do something almost unconsciously to bring you back to $50,000. Or if you're performing a little bit below that, again, you'll do something extra unconsciously to bring you up to that level. And most of the references that I make today in this webinar will be around the business performance side, and we'll touch on things slightly outside that. So why is it that you can't outperform your self-image? And it's for this reason, that whatever you believe to be true is true for you. And in the example we just used, if you believe you can only earn $50,000, or if you believe whatever it is, then that is true for you. It's your truth, your truism. And you will live your life consistent with the beliefs that you have, along with your values, the hierarchy of the values that you have, and your identity. So this is why it's so important. Now, if we dig a little bit further into your self-image and what it's comprised of, the beliefs that you have. So you might have a number of beliefs, and it'll come out in your language. If you're talking with me, I am listening to what you say, to the words, to the content, the structure, to the body language that goes with it, and I'll see or I'll hear what your beliefs are. And if you want to know what your own beliefs are, look around the world that you're experiencing, where you live, who you're living with, how much you're earning, the lifestyle you're enjoying. It is all consistent with your beliefs. This is powerful. And if we look at the values, another component of the self-image, you may have values, and they'll be in an order. And this is a really interesting area. It's called the hierarchy of values. If I'm sitting down with you, chatting with you, coaching you, I might ask you, what are the highest values in your life in the context of business? And a long time ago, I said fun was my first one, then my health, my fitness, various other things. Money was about 7th or 8th on the list. And of course, with money being a lower value, lower in the hierarchy than fun, then I was out having fun, but not making a lot of money. So I worked on that a few years ago, and it's made quite a difference, let me tell you. And then there's your identity. Who do you identify as? Who do you think you are? Such a powerful question. When you look in the mirror, who do you see? What attributes do you think that person in the mirror has? That's making up your identity. Now you can see on the right-hand side of the page a big blue circle and a little red circle. And the last bullet point on the left is map versus territory. In your self-image, in the reality that you're experiencing, the map that you have for navigating this world is represented by the red circle. And it's limited by your perceptions, your beliefs, your values, your identity. Again, you can only see what you believe you can see, or you can only experience what you believe you can experience in this life. And yet, there's a whole world outside that map. The blue circle represents the territory that can be called the enormity of life. And because you've got these blinkers on, you only see the red circle. You only see this particular map. And in the work that I do, it's helping you to open up the blinkers, stretch the boundaries of the map so you can enjoy more of the territory, more of the good things in this thing we call life. It's a really, really powerful concept. Wow. And when I say that, wow, I'm just thinking of the change that's occurred in my own life in the last probably 13 years since this really hit hard for me. I'll go into my story a little bit later and tell you the reason why I'm doing these things. Now, the question is, how do you think about yourself, or what is your self-image in regard to all these bullet points that I've got up here? What do you think about yourself in regard to your health? What level of health do you think you have? Are you thin, athletic? Are you a generous-sized figure? How are you performing in the health department? Do you think that you're going to, and this is actually also connected to longevity. For people who believe they're going to have a healthy and long life, they probably will have one, bar an accident. if someone thinks they're going to have a short life because they see a family history of, say, heart disease, then quite likely they're going to create a self-fulfilling prophecy and die early. This is really, really scary when you think, what are you thinking? What is your belief about your health or your level of fitness? If you believe you can run the Gold Coast Marathon, you'll be able to run the Gold Coast Marathon, so long as your belief also includes, or your self-talk also includes going to train for the Gold Coast Marathon. And what about your relationships? Not just your love relationship, but your relationship with siblings, parents, other members of the family, friends, networking relationships, business, and then, of course, your major love relationship. How do you perform in these areas? Again, it's dictated to by your self-image. That self-talk will tell you. Driving skills. And quite often we can sit in the car talking about other people's driving skills. What do we think about our own? Or how do we see ourselves as performing as a son or a daughter or mother or father, sister or brother? And there's so many different aspects of our unconscious mind and how we think about ourselves. And in today's context, it comes back to, what do we believe? What is our self-talk about our income earning potential? And self-talk, that we have something like 50 to 80,000 thoughts a day. And quite often, they're negative. And you've got to catch yourself, be aware of the little reactions that you have to certain things that come up. An example I had was when I did my training, someone was suggesting that some really good practitioners could go out and do consulting for, let's pick a figure, $10,000 a day. And one of my friends reacted to this almost violently, saying, no one's worth that. And I'm just thinking, where did that belief come from? If you're providing the value, if you're making a significant change to an organisation or to a group of people, why can't you earn all the things you'd like to be earning? Hi there, we've just got someone else coming on board. How you doing? I'm recording this, so I'll post that up later on, both on Facebook and elsewhere. And what else do you say to yourself about being a business owner? And some people will say, look, I really struggle with running my business profitably, or it's too hard to make the cold calls, or something else. And when you hear I am, followed by whatever the statement is, it can really give you an indication of what someone's beliefs are, as well as looking in their life to seeing what their experience is. And of course, as an entrepreneur, you have to have a belief about success, and whether it's hard or whether it's easy, or whether you can collaborate or not collaborate, or whether you trust people or don't trust people. All these statements are reflecting your self-image. So if you're saying to yourself something like, look, I really struggle with, or I really find it hard to find customers, you're going to find it hard to find customers, because that's your self-talk. What if you were to say to yourself and made a practice of it, I easily and effortlessly find the right customers for me to enjoy this profitable business? What if you made that a habit and you said it so often until it became true for you, as you embed that in your belief? Now, the affirmations, I'll have to say, the affirmations are probably the harder path to travel down to create change. And the key to the affirmations being successful is to really have an emotional attachment to the affirmation. If you're saying it like a mantra, I easily and effortlessly bring in new clients that make my business profitable, and you don't believe it, or you have a resistance to it, or you're saying it negatively and without emotion, those sort of affirmations are going to be really, really hard. And the key to affirmations is the power of your emotions, the structure of the statement, and getting yourself involved, not just in the language of the words, also in the language of your body and how you get into it. The self-image covers such a wide area and can either imprison you or empower you in regard to advancing in your life in whatever way you'd like to do that. What's the impact? And you can see in this little picture, you may have seen it in social media memes before, the kitten looking into a mirror, and the kitten, as it looks at its own reflection, sees a lion staring straight back. That is very powerful. If you are a kitten and you see a lion, fantastic. There's a sense of empowerment, strength, and all those things that we think about when we consider the picture of a lion. However, for many people, they'll look in the mirror and it'll be the other way around. They quite probably are a lion, and yet when they look in the mirror, they just see a helpless little kitten, a victim to circumstances, and at a loss for being able to create the change that it wants to experience. And this is quite common. You look in the mirror and you see less than what you really are. It happens to people who are overweight. They look in the mirror and see if they even look at it at all. And they say, no, I don't like you, I hate you. And they may not even look in the mirror because they just don't like what they see there. And yet, there's so many powerful things you can do. As you look in that mirror, you might, and I think this was, it was Natalie Clark, who won the gold medal in the 2000 beach volleyball. One of her exercises was to look in the mirror every day, and she either had painted or put a medallion on the mirror. So every time she stood in front of the mirror, she saw a gold medalist. Now, if you're doing that over and over and over again, and you're doing it with powerful emotions, you're going to start believing you are a gold medalist. And that's one thing you can do. And it is a very powerful exercise. Look in the mirror and see who you would like to become. And this is the impact. The impact of this self-image. It can be positive, it can be negative. You can be imprisoned by limiting beliefs. You can be empowered by your positive beliefs that you have. And you will find, if you look, you will find it happening in one way or another to you in your life. If you look around you, or even when you look in the mirror, what is your self-talk? It'll be reflecting what the self-image is that you have. And it may be hindering you. It could be hindering you in your relationships, in your ability to live the life that you really want to live. So we've got to, if we're going to make this change, we say, well, wait a minute, self-image, if I'm limited to this map and I can't outperform it, how will I improve my life? It's a great question. And the key to this is finding a way, and that's why I'm here, because that's what I do, is expanding the self-image so that a map of the world is opened up and you can achieve more in your life, which is why I think you're here. And it happened to me at a critical point back in 2005. I had a major injury. I was told I was going to be a paraplegic. Fortunately, I'm not. I'm able to stand and walk. And it was after the surgery, which saved my ability to walk. I still suffered pain, and I took a lot of painkillers, far too many painkillers, and washed them down with far too much alcohol. And I spent a lot of time feeding negative thoughts, negative circumstances, until I just didn't want to be here. And at the time I decided to make my exit from this world, someone rang me up and referred me to someone who was really skillful in the area that I now practice in. And they got me out of that quite quickly, actually, in about 3 or 4 sessions, where I started to embrace life again. And instead of being disempowered, I became empowered. And it was all about the self-image. Like, my self-image took such a whack when I had the injury, and all I did was look at negative circumstances, things that I focused on the bad things. And as the saying goes, you get more of what you focus on. And I focused on a lot of bad things. And so I ended up falling into a heap. And yet, after I'd been pulled up out of that, such a change. And my life just started to progress again. And so 3 years later, the end of 2008, when my future was freed up for new opportunities, thanks to the GFC, uh, it wasn't as hard hitting. I said, oh, okay, that's not so good. And what will I do? And I looked for other things and considered the other circumstances, the good things that had happened in my life, and chose this field so that I could help others the way that I've been helped, and I can make an impact in the world. And I've chosen to do that in the business sector to help people succeed and really have the life that they'd like to enjoy. Now, I know I've got you on mute at the moment, but I'll open it up for questions as we get towards the end. So this self-image, what is it comprised of? It's all those little things I've been mentioning earlier, like the self-talk. What do we say about ourselves? What are the beliefs we have? What are the filters that we're wearing as we look around and see whatever we think the world is, and our identity? That's all those things. And where did it come from? Where it comes from, mostly the imprint period, that first 7 years of life. And we don't have the critical conscious factor to say yes or no, right or wrong, and to judge what is good and what is bad. We're just a sponge soaking everything in. So if I was growing, if I took my little grandson now, who's growing up here on the Central Coast, if I popped him over into China, he'd grow up. Oh, sorry, have you got a hand up? So I'll just check. So did you have your hand up, Carolina? No, okay. I'll just pop you back on mute. So if I put my grandson and his family over into China now, and he's a little guy of about 3 years of age, he'd grow up learning Chinese, he'd grow up learning about the Chinese culture, and all those things would be embedded in him. He'd just soak them up. And what it has been is happening for him, and what happened to us when we were little kids, everything mum and dad said, everything our family did and said, it's actually more likely what they did rather than what they said. Our reference groups, our close reference groups at that time as we're starting school and maybe being involved in surf clubs, nippers, that sort of thing. It's all just dropping in. And the thing is, we don't have a filter. It just goes, and it's popped in. It can even go back to as far as when your mum is still carrying you around when she's pregnant. I had one client when we did some work to release a block, taking him back in time, and we were looking for the first time that this block had occurred in his life. And he went back, first of all, he thought it was going to be about 4 or 5 years of age. I said, just go back a little bit further and check it. And he just went, shoo, and he said he was about midterm, and he heard his father say something very negative to his mother. And I thought, wow, that is mind-blowing that the unconscious mind can bring those things up to be resolved. So be careful what you're saying when you talk around on what you're doing when you're around little kids and new mums who are about to be, because you don't know what impact that's going to have. Yeah, so when did this happen? Those first 7 years. And then, of course, if there's significant events later, say if you're travelling in a plane and there's a hijack, or the plane drops that 10 to 20,000 feet quite suddenly, you could develop a fear of planes and believe that it's not safe to fly in planes. It's going to have an impact on your life. Or if you had a car crash or a relationship breakdown, a business failure, depending on how you communicate to yourself the impact of those events, you're going to probably be developing new beliefs. Now, just considering some of my own circumstances, which I'm not sharing at this time, how those things can impact you. You might ask yourself, well, what if I can't change this? Many things can be changed. I just want to assure you of that. If I reflect back on that example of what was happening in my life towards the end of 2005 when I didn't want to be here, I didn't think I could change it. And it just so happened, serendipitously, that I got referred to someone who had the skill to be able to get inside my belief system and my identity and help me to change that so I can be here today sharing this with you. What a difference it can make in your business life as well. If you believe that you can succeed, if you believe that you can earn what you want, and on the other side of that, you can have the things you want because your business is successful, profitable, making money, and you can enjoy the good things in life that are available to us in this day and age. And the next question is, how can I change it? How can I change it? When we're considering your belief systems and your values and your identity, it's the wiring inside your unconscious mind. Physically, it can be represented by neurological pathways inside the mind, and these things can be tracked. And in fact, in the neuroscience area, I believe that they can identify the neural pathways that represent different areas of your life. Different things fire up when certain emotions or certain things are communicated. And yet deeper down in your unconscious mind, the level of consciousness, we can change the structure of beliefs, of values, of identity, so you can do things differently. And what was the old saying from Einstein? What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results. So if you want change in your results, you have to change the way you think. And this is actually reminding me I should have another slide, but if you could imagine a flow chart, starting with beliefs, your beliefs will have an impact on what you are thinking or perceiving. It'll have an impact on your actions that you're going to take, because you'll only take action consistent with your thoughts and beliefs. And then those actions will get certain results. And then those results will reinforce whatever the belief is that the circle started in. Yet once you change those beliefs, you're going to be able to change what you think, what you perceive, how you act, and get different results. Which then takes us into the level of, into the area of responsibility. What if I am responsible for everything that happens in my life? It's a statement of power. And again, this can come into self-image. You're responsible or you're not. If you're responsible, you've got control. If you're not responsible for what happens in your life, you're a victim. Which would you rather be? The victim or in control? And it's a choice that you can make for yourself, and it's a very powerful choice. Okay, so what are the possibilities? Well, they're limitless. What do you want? It's like magic. It's like rubbing the magic lamp. What do you wish for? What are all the different things that you can have in your life? It's endless. And it's very exciting. Very, very exciting. So who's ready to experiment? Now, we've talked about the self-image, how you get it, how it can change, what its impact is. Let's have a look at a couple of ways that you can impact the way you think. And if we focus on our hand and we can say to ourselves, look, I'm going to move that hand backwards, or I can move it forwards, to the left or to the right, my hand will do it. And you can direct your thoughts with the same level of control. And we're going to show you how to do that. All you have to do is be able to use your focus, tap into your imagination, and just follow some simple instructions. I'm just going to check in with Carolina. Hey, Carolina, are you okay to follow this exercise for a couple of minutes?
Yes, I'm following.
Okay. Well, I'll leave you unmuted so that I can get your feedback as we go through this. Okay? So you can focus, you can use your imagination.
Yeah.
And you can follow simple instructions. I know you can. So this first one is going to demonstrate to you the power that you do have over yourself. So just close your eyes for a moment. And what I want you to do is just take a really nice, easy, deep breath in. And as you breathe out with your eyes closed, just give yourself permission to relax. When you've emptied your lungs, just breathe in really deep again. Really, really deep, filling your lungs. This time as you breathe out slowly through your mouth, allow yourself to imagine that you have a wave of relaxation flowing from the head down through the muscles of your body to your toes. What I'll ask you to do is just use your imagination and just have a scan of your body. Look for the most relaxed part of your body. Maybe it's your left foot or your right foot, your left hand or your right hand or somewhere else. When you find it, tell me, where is the most relaxed part of your body, Caroline?
My right hand.
Your right hand. What I'm going to ask
Yeah.
you to do now is use your imagination, tap into the relaxation in your right hand. And what I'm going to ask you to do is bring it up into your eyes, all the muscles in your eyes, all the little muscles in and around your eyes, the micro muscles, until they become really relaxed, loose and limp with your own relaxation. And then just bring this up into your eyelids. So your eyelids become filled with relaxation of yours. And when your eyelids are so heavy with your own relaxation, when the muscles in your eyes are so relaxed, loose and limp with your own relaxation, focus on this relaxation and focus so much on this relaxation that your eyes become so relaxed, they just want to stay closed. They don't want to even open. And when you know you're at this level of relaxation, test it and you'll find that while you focus on relaxation, you can't open your eyes. They just stay closed because your focus is on enjoying this beautiful relaxation of yours. Tell me what happened for you, Carolina.
Sorry, I zoned out. What?
You zoned out. Well, that's because you're relaxed. Okay, so that's so funny. With your eyes closed, I was asking you to focus on the relaxation. You sound like you got pretty relaxed, didn't you?
I'm very relaxed.
Okay, were you able to open your eyes while you were that relaxed?
No, not right now.
No. And this is the power of your ability to control what you're feeling, what you're perceiving. So that's one exercise for you. You can replay it. And whenever you do it, it'll be a great way for you to quickly release tension, go into deep relaxation, and you'll be able to make better decisions during the day. And that is an entry point, if we were to go further, that is an entry point for you to drop down even deeper into hypnosis, which is a great place to be able to make change, because while your conscious mind is busy having a rest, we can talk to your unconscious mind and help you create really, really powerful changes, which is only one of many ways that we can do this. Now let's have a look at increasing the certainty of your desired outcomes. This is important. Where the conflict comes with your self-image is you could say, look, my goal is this. My goal is to make $1 million. If you don't have the belief, you don't have the certainty, you don't have the values, you don't have the identity of being the type of person that can make $1 million, you're so out of alignment, incongruent. What we can do in the work that I do is to get that, close that gap, and also help you find ways of achieving that. So think about one outcome you would like to achieve, say over the next 12 months. What's one thing you'd like to achieve? And I'll just get your feedback, Carolina. What's one thing you'd like to achieve in the next 12 months?
$150,000 in commission.
Okay, $150,000 in commission.
Yeah.
What is your level of certainty on a scale of 0 to 100? What's your level of certainty about achieving this?
I think I can probably do half of that in 6 months.
You think you can? Okay. So I'm hearing a little bit of doubt or incongruency in your voice, a little bit of hesitation. So how would you rate that on the scale? So it's certainly not 100%. What would you think it would be?
So being a realist, knowing that takes a bit of time to build up relationships, I think it would be realistic to say probably 75 would be quite easily achievable within 12 months. But I think in 6 months' time, 12 months from that, 150,000 should be pretty easy.
Okay, so if we nail a figure in your mind, what's your level of certainty about achieving 150,000 in commissions by this time next year?
Oh, like 100%.
Is it 100%? You there?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so you think it is 100%?
yeah. I think I can. I
Okay,
don't think
let's
it'll
pick
be
some.
easy, but I think that I definitely can.
Okay, maybe the goal isn't high enough then. So,
Okay. I like the way you think.
so yeah. If it's not, if it's something you can, you're already certain about, then maybe you're not stretching yourself for what the possibilities are in your life.
Yeah.
So, what would you think about making 200,000 in commissions over the next 12 months? What's your level of certainty there?
Um, Sorry, the question again.
What's your level of certainty on a scale of 0 to 100 in earning 200,000 in commissions over the next 12 months?
Or 75?
Okay, great, 75%. All right, just close your eyes for a moment. And we're working on increasing the certainty of the desired outcome. With your eyes closed, just imagine a picture in front of you, and it's a picture of the version of you that earns $200,000 a year. So you may see yourself the ideal you standing there in a certain way, dressed a certain way, having certain things around you, certain facial expressions. Just go ahead and make it a masterpiece. Make it a beautiful, beautiful masterpiece, a picture that you can fall in love with. And you can make it bigger, you can make the colours brighter, although I don't know how much brighter than the yellow dress you're already wearing. But you can have rings, necklaces, or the other things that communicate to you your success in earning $200,000 a year. Have you got it with your eyes closed? You've got a good sense of this picture?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, on the count of three, just imagine you float out of your chair and into the picture, into the ideal version of you. So 1, 2, 3, just float into the picture. So now you're standing in the ideal version of you, looking through the eyes of the ideal version of you, listening through the ears of the ideal version of you, and feeling what it's like to be the ideal version of you, making $200,000 a year, and the sense of satisfaction, fulfillment, you're achieving your purpose, and all those beautiful things. And then as you feel it, as you breathe it in, as it goes through every cell of your body, tap inside to the beliefs that you enable for this to happen. You making $200,000 a year, tap into those beliefs and feel it strongly, feel it powerfully, and just imagine you're standing like this, Carolina, the beauty that it is. And when you've got it as beautiful as you can experience it, and the count to three and ask you to bring it back to the chair. So 1, 2, 3, wrap up all these things inside you and bring it back to the chair and feel how good this feels. And as you open your eyes, get in touch with your level of certainty now about achieving $200,000 a year. Because your imagination is your preview of your life's coming attractions. So, Carolina, what level of certainty do you have about this now, where previously you were 75%? What would you perceive this to be now?
100.
100. Because you experienced it, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
And it felt good?
Felt really good.
Yeah, I bet. I bet. And that's an exercise you can practice over and over again at the beginning of each day to set the GPS in your unconscious mind for what it is that you want, because you're going in to experience it. And this is only touching on an area that we can go much deeper into if we were to work together. So I'm glad you enjoyed that, Carolina. It's quite a powerful experience, and especially when you're repeating it, and you're repeating it both as this visualization and also in hypnosis, makes a very big difference in what you start to see, what you start to believe about yourself, and the actions you take and the results you get. And it just loops around and around and around. So I'm glad you enjoyed that. Now,
Thank you.
good. Now I hope cleaner's just come in to start vacuuming, so we should be finished before she gets too close. So when you think about what it is you really want, and what is it you want to achieve specifically? Maybe it is a 200,000, maybe it's a business, leaving a legacy, creating a future for your children. And I'm going to ask you, why is that important to you? Why is this one? Why is this the one thing you want to achieve? Why is it important to you? And what will it mean? Thanks, Eva. Why is this one specific thing important to you? And what will it mean to you when you achieve this? And in this example with Carolina, what will it, why do you want to achieve 200,000 specifically? And why this goal? Why is it important to you? What will it mean when you achieve this particular goal in 12 months' time? And the kicker is, how will you feel if you don't achieve this? And that's when things unravel a bit and become a bit challenging, because you know you want it, you know it's important, and you know it means so much for you to be able to achieve this particular goal. And what if you don't? Well, those other things fall over if you don't get it. So what I'm tapping into is your purpose, your sincerity, your degree of desire about achieving this particular goal. Very powerful. Well, we're just about coming to the end. What's your feedback, Carolina? Just interested. You've been here for the whole session. Good on you.
I love the visualization. It's really exciting to really, I suppose, dig deeper into to really future date where you want to see yourself, and then really make that a real thing.
Yes, yes.
And it feels very exciting, feels very empowering, and it's very motivating as well to do it. And I think it's a good little tactic and tool to remember to do that, because it's easy to kind of do it now with you, but also to continue to practice it. Like any sport that you do, you've got to continue to practice it to actually get good at it. So I think that's the key here, to remember that this is a tool that anyone can do. It's easy, it's effective, but you just have to actually do the practice, do the work.
That's right. You've got to be able to do it. So, it is really, really important. And that's only the beginning of that particular change. And there's so much more you can do, and it can be in all different aspects of your life. Relationships, fitness, health, sport, and in this context, in business, and what you can achieve. So the question or you may have this question, I don't know, because it is quite an interesting presentation, discussion. I really enjoy giving it. Is if people do want to work with me, because this is not about a sales pitch, this is about providing you with some educational content and some experience as well. And there's a number of different ways that people can work with me. They can either come in and spend a day as a group, a small group in a workshop, or spend a half day with me one-on-one. And if you want to find out more about how does that work, or how do you work with me for you to get your goals, just give me a call and we can book in a time to chat one-on-one, to talk about what is it you want to do. In your case, make 200 grand. What's blocking you, and some ideas to change that, and whether it's suitable and appropriate for us to work together. Well, it is available for everyone, and everyone can do it. I've got to make sure it's the right time, and you're going to be the right person to work with, so that you get the benefit. It's like when I was doing therapy work, if a smoker came along and said, "Yeah, I want to quit smoking," and I said, "Well, who are you doing it for?" And they said, "Oh, my wife, my kids, the doctor, the dentist, anyone but them." And I said, "Well, do you really want to become a non-smoker?" And they go, "No." I said, "Well, save your money, keep smoking. When you're ready to change, then come and see me." And it's the same in this. I want to make sure that you succeed. I want to make sure you're in the right place. We might do some pre-work to get you to that spot, but it's taking you from where you are now and taking the right steps for you to get what you want. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I've enjoyed presenting it, and I thank you for taking the time to be with me here today. So
thank you,
Carolina. Enjoy the rest of your day, And
Brilliant.
I will speak to you soon. And anyone else who's listening to the recording, just give me a holler, 0416 929 636. We'll speak soon. All right.
Thanks,
Have an
Wayne.
awesome day.
Good one.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye.